What's the crack? This is the MetroY Pro from Revopoint, and I got asked this on my TikTok. At 3D Minter, by the way. Blanche says, I really want one, but I can't justify the cost yet. It would be great to see how it handles small detailed scans like electrical components and Warhammer minis. Well Blanche, we're not only going to test out scanning small objects, we are going to gradually increase the difficulty for this scanner and see what it can do. Just an FYI, all thoughts in this video are my own. I bought this scanner with my own money after months of thinking about it, but at Revopoint, right, if you've never used a 3D scanner before, it basically captures a scale-accurate digital version of something real. Think of it as scanning everything all at once instead of measuring with a calipers. The MetroY Pro sits in a weird middle ground. It's not a hobby toy, it's not fully industrial, it's somewhere in between. We have blue laser scanning for details, marker tracking and wireless functionality, but that will be explained a bit more later on. Comparing this to the Metro X, this is the bigger brother. More serious, with a few more options to justify the additional cost. And speaking of cost, I paid 1,471 European euros for this scanner, and I used a promo code which took off €30, which was nice. Now, let's take a look inside the pretty serious carrying case it comes in. First, we have the auto turntable, which has threaded mounting points amongst the pre-laid reflective markers. It's powered by the mains and it can tilt up to 30 degrees. We have some power leads for the scanner. We also have a small tripod made of metal. It's nice, compact, pretty durable. This is the wireless battery grip, also made of metal. A short USB-C to USB-C cable to connect the scanner and the grip together. And we have the scanner itself, predominantly made of plastic, but it still feels good in the hand and it's pretty light. So if you're doing longer scans, you'll be thankful it's not too heavy. Now let's see what else is included in the carry case. We have this glass calibration plate, and while we're here, let's get this bad boy calibrated. The calibration setup is pretty simple. All you need to do is scan the printed QR code that's on the back of the calibration plate. Once done, flip the plate over, follow the instructions on screen. Make sure you get within the green guidelines on screen. This part is a little difficult, but you do get the hang of it eventually. You will get a pop-up on screen saying whether it's been successful or failed, in this case successful, and that's it, you're calibrated. Pretty simple. Now let's put away the calibration board and get into our first scan. Blanche wanted to know how it handles small electrical components and Warhammer minis. Small electrical components I have, Warhammer minis I don't. And this small 3D printed figure will have to do. All scans will be linked in the description below and on my link tree for you to download and take a look at yourself. Before we start, we'll set up the auto turntable. A simple plug in the back and she's turning. You connect the turntable wirelessly to RevoMetro, and that gives you the ability to be able to control the turn and tilt angle. Next, we get our scanner set up on the included tripod, make sure it's positioned correctly. I added some double-sided tape to the bottom of the minifigure so it doesn't fall off the turntable. The scanner was having some trouble picking up the surface detail. Scanners have a hard time with reflective materials, so I added some dry shampoo and the scanner was able to pick the figure up instantly. We got some failed tracking due to the tilt angle on the turntable, which was completely my fault. So I readjusted and changed the tilt settings and I was able to get a much better result. After all the post-processing, you're able to see the small details captured by the scanner. I did simplify the model to reduce the file size, but you can see even with 140,000 polygons, the detail is still pretty crisp. Next, I tried to use the auto turntable and the buck converter, which didn't really work out too well. The book converter was too small, so it kept losing track of the features. So I swapped over to marker tracking and laser scanning. This gave a much cleaner result and I was able to pick up the book converter pretty instantly. The book converter is quite small and reflective, but I was still able to pick up the edges and the main parts on the controller. Small details tend to get rounded or domed, but I would be happy to work around this as a reference model in my design. Next, we move on to our medium-sized scan. This 1980s Toshiba boombox that I bought for €40 about 10 years ago. I have a project plan for this in the future, so I'm double jobbing at the moment. We start by placing out our tracker markers. I 3D printed my markers instead of buying the $200 pack from Revopoint. I think they do the exact same thing and I didn't want to spend that much money. Make sure to place them pretty densely around the front of the stereo. You want to make sure you have enough tracking markers so your scanner has enough reference points or it will lose track, and you don't want that. The tracking markers can also not be moved once placed or the track will fail. Tracking markers can come in all different shapes and sizes. Some have angles, some are flat. I like to use a mix of all of them and it gives me the best coverage. This was multiple scans merged into one, as the boombox was a bit too difficult to scan fully in 2 passes. And here we are, the final merge scan. This one took a bit longer than I expected. I did 5 scans in total and I only merged 4 of them to get this result. The holes are due to simplifying the point cloud to reduce the file size. And here is the boombox converted to a mesh. And you can definitely read the words as well if you didn't simplify the scan either. Next, we move on to our final and biggest scan. I wanted to make it a bit more of a challenge, and for sure, this is something this scanner would be used for in a professional environment. Maybe this isn't big enough. So instead, we will be scanning this 2010 Ford Fiesta Mark 6 1.2 litre titanium edition. This baby has 82 horsepower and is my daily driver, but we will not be scanning the entire car, not just yet. We will be scanning the engine bay. Look at all those 3 cylinders. 82 horsepower, 82. Maybe at a stretch I'd get it up to 100, but who needs more than that, realistically? There's definitely some complicated shapes. There's some bits and pieces I don't want to touch. This is also going to be testing the Wi-Fi capabilities of the MetroY Pro. Okay, let's pause for a second. I'm jumping back in. A quick explanation on the Wi-Fi usage here. This scanner is not truly wireless. What happens is you connect the machine to the scanner's own Wi-Fi network. The machine then uses that to connect to RevoMetro wirelessly, and it transmits the scanning data to the software. If you want to use this without a laptop beside you, you can download the Revo Mirror app, which only mirrors the screen of your machine to your phone or tablet. And back to the video. I have a laptop that I bought back in 2019, and Gigabit Aero 15 SA for all you tech heads out there. RevoMetro should be able to run on this pretty seamlessly. I have tested it already, but I haven't tested it on a large scan, so I guess we're both going to figure it out together. But unfortunately, not all things go to plan.
It looks like this is a bit more difficult than I expected it to be. The laptop needs to be connected to power, and I'm not getting a stable connection with the scanner. So just kind of put this one kind of in the shitter. But we'll readjust and we'll continue on soon.
As you can see, we have a small portion of the engine covered here. I don't have enough markers to track the entire engine in one go, so we're going to have to do it in separate parts. I'm thinking left, middle, right. And that is the right hand side done. Let's move on to the center. And that's the middle done. Let's move on to the left. And that is the final part of the engine complete. Then we will move on to merge the entire thing. Here we have the right hand side of the engine, the center-ish part of the engine, and the left hand side of the engine, and the center-ish part again. We merge the right hand side and the center. This is using the auto align feature. After that merge is complete, we add in the left hand side. Now that that's complete, I'll add in the additional center scan, and boom, the final model. Merging multiple scans with the auto align feature worked a dream, and I could see this being genuinely useful. I even sent the results to my brother, who is a real mechanic, and this was his response. So yeah, mechanic approved. And this leaves us with my final thoughts on the RevoMetro Pro from a standard day-to-day user and hobbyist creator. What has it been like to use? Did I encounter any bugs? Is it worth a pretty steep price tag? Let's start with one thing that we could not forget about: the barrier to entry. It is essential that you have a machine that has enough power to run this software. The better the PC, the better the experience. It is possible to run the scanner on lower end machines like I did, but you might experience some issues. I did get some random crash outs while using the laptop, and I had to rescan parts of the engine bay at times, which was annoying because I was on a bit of a time crunch, but I was still able to get the job done. You just have to remember to save more often. So make sure to check if your machine meets the minimum requirements before purchasing. Build quality. The scanner is sturdy. It's light enough that your arm doesn't get tired when you're scanning, but there is some weight to it so it doesn't feel flimsy in the hand. The only problem I noticed is when you're using the scanner on the battery grip without the phone holder. The threaded screw actually hits the end stop before tightening fully, so that means when you use the scanner and you tilt, it will turn. You can't tighten it anymore either. There are two holes here that I could print something to prevent the roll, but that'll be for a different day. For the moment, I'm going to apply my patented thumb method. Other items in the box are chunky, well built, and give you a false sense of confidence. Software. RevoMetro is fine. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, maybe with some quirks when you start off. The UI is fine, everything is clearly marked, and you essentially just follow from left to right in the top toolbar. There are options to let the software do everything for you, but I personally like to have full control. Once you use it a couple of times, you'll start to get the hang of it. It does stutter at times, but it catches up. In my experience with my desktop, I never got any crashes, but as I said, I did get some with the laptop, but that's not as powerful and I could have been pushing it too hard. Now, the important part, the scan results. You can download them yourself to have a look and see if the MetroY Pro will fit your needs. If you're like me and you want to improve your workflow, make your designs more precise, or just have a lot of things that you want to scan, this is worth the money. I find myself thinking about projects with a more open mind now that I have this tool at my disposal, and that's exactly what it is. It's a tool. It's not a gadget that you buy and use once or twice and pack it away. This is part of your creation process. This speeds up prototyping, accuracy, and quality of design life overall, and at times can spark some unexpected creativity. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more 3D Minter projects.